It offers channel management, vendor digital enablement, and B2B marketplace for Malaysia market. In this digital adoption time, we talk about usability. When our customers or even the partner right now, they often have a limited choice to access the product and service through your new digital offering. What kind of option will expand the business partner or the customer to move beyond this crisis, and how well of your new offering will stand out from there?
For Supply Cloud, we have built multiple solutions. So we started creating a marketplace where both suppliers and companies looking to purchase things can have access to. And after that, we evolved into a SaaS solution, work with companies in terms of digitalizing their procurement process flows as well. And what that means is, everything that's being done manually, creating POs on Excel or Word documents, we're manually keying in whoever is signed. So that's the solution that Supply Cloud is able to digitalize all this process, right? To be done, digital approvals and so forth. The other solutions that we have done as well was being able to vendor manage, digitally onboarding suppliers, partners onto a single platform for the company to be able to transact commerce with each other and communicate. Those days you were sending fax, you were calling, picking up the phone. So all different vendors were managed differently. So now you can manage the vendor on that single platform.
Okay, so this is fine, right?
I think you could see backward a bit.
Okay, this is fine.
Okay, now it looks great.
Great. Okay.
All right, so we can maintain this position.
Sorry?
We can maintain in this position.
Towards right or left?
It's great now. I mean, you can maintain these positions.
Okay, fine.
Wait, before we start, I just want to say my name is actually Kunshang and not Shangfu. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just get it started before the beginning. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we will be starting around 1:50 and we will start around 2. So we will have like a 10 minutes to allow the participant to join in.
Okay. Fine now.
telling a salesperson not being able to go out and do sales anymore, or not face to face is a bit uncomfortable if you're always very used to that, But I guess that is the shift that we're moving towards too. Being a tech company during the MCO period was really an learning curve for us, and in terms of working from home, in terms of culture was still very collaborative tools in our organization. Being able to have internet connection and being able to communicate. So I think we have moved to different types of tools now with our clients. Previously a lot of people we were using calls, we were using face-to-face, but now we had to move digital means, whether it's via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or so forth, using more on the mobile devices as well to communicate, checking our emails, preparing our proposals. That was really a learning experience for us.
Enterprise mobility is an approach to work in which employees can do their jobs from anywhere using a variety of devices and applications. Business mobility, is the growing trend of businesses to offer remote working options, allow the use of personal laptops and mobile devices for business purposes, also make use of cloud technology for data access. Enterprise mobility recognizes the need for greater agility brought on by a shift from the traditional central office business model. To shift towards enterprise mobility, or I can say sharpen your remote working capabilities.
Under digital enablement and B2B marketplace for Malaysia market. In this digital adoption time, we talk about usability. When our customers or even the partner right now, they often have a limited choice to access the product and service through your new digital offering. What kind of option will expand the business partner or the customer to move beyond this crisis, and how well of your new offering will stand out from there?
For Supply Cloud, we have built multiple solutions. So we started creating a marketplace where both suppliers and companies looking to purchase things can have access to. And after that, we evolved into a SaaS solution to work with companies in terms of digitalizing their procurement process flows as well. And what that means is, everything that's being done manually, creating POs on Excel or Word documents, we're manually keying in whoever is signed. So that's the solution that Supply Cloud is able to digitalize all this process, right? To be done, digital approvals and so forth. The other solutions that we have done as well was being able to vendor manage, digitally onboarding suppliers, partners onto a single platform for the company to be able to transact e-commerce with each other and communicate. Those days you were sending fax, you were calling, picking up the phone. So all different vendors were managed differently. So now you can manage the vendor on that single platform. Telling a salesperson not being able to go out and do sales anymore, or not face to face is a bit uncomfortable if you're always very used to that, But I guess that is the shift that we're moving towards too. Being a tech company during the MCO period was really an learning curve for us, and in terms of working from home, in terms of culture was still very collaborative tools in our organization. Being able to have internet connection and being able to communicate. So I think we have moved to different types of tools now with our clients. Previously a lot of people we were using calls, we were using face-to-face, but now we had to move digital means, whether it's via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or so forth, using more on the mobile devices as well to communicate, checking our emails, preparing our proposals. That was really a learning experience for us.
Enterprise mobility is an approach to work in which employees can do their jobs from anywhere using a variety of devices and applications. Business mobility, is the growing trend of businesses to offer remote working options, allow the use of personal laptops and mobile devices for business purposes, also make use of cloud technology for data access. Enterprise mobility recognizes the need for greater agility brought on by a shift from the traditional central office business model. To shift towards enterprise mobility, or I can say, sharpen your remote working capabilities.
Telling a salesperson not be able to go out and do sales anymore, or not face to face, is a bit uncomfortable if you're always very used to that, But I guess that is the shift that we're moving towards too. Being a tech company during the MCO period was an learning curve for us, and in terms of working from home, culture was still very collaborative tools in our organization. Being able to have internet connection and being able to communicate. So I think we have moved to different types of tools now with our clients. Previously a lot of people we were using calls, we were using face-to-face, but now we had to move digital means, whether it's via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or so forth, using more on the mobile devices as well to communicate, checking our emails, preparing our proposals. That was really a learning experience for us.
Enterprise mobility is an approach to work in which employees can do their jobs from anywhere using a variety of devices and applications. Business mobility, is the growing trend of businesses to offer remote working options, allow the use of personal laptops and mobile devices for business purposes, also make use of cloud technology for data access. Enterprise mobility recognizes the need for greater agility brought on by a shift from the traditional central office business model. To shift towards enterprise mobility, or I can say sharpen your remote working capabilities.
Specializing in B2B platform for the past 10 years. You have offered an management vendor digital
Everyone,
and
to see all of you who made it. Everyone's doing well wherever they are, and we're about to start the session soon. Let's say 40 more minutes for some more participants to join. By the way, so streaming this live on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So if you know anyone who's not keen on using Zoom, you have to be left out, as we are going to be sharing a lot of interesting information. So there'll be a link in the chat for everyone to share it around.
Purchase things you have access to, and after that we evolve into a SaaS solution, work with companies in terms of digitalizing their procurement process flows as well. And what that means is, everything that's being done manually, creating POs on Excel or Word documents, we're manually keying in who designed. But that's the solution that Supply is able to digitalize all this process, right? To be done, digital approvals and so forth. The other solutions that we have done as well was being able to vendor manage, digitally onboarding suppliers, partners onto a single platform for the company to be able to transact commerce with each other and communicate. Those days you were sending fax, you were calling, picking up the phone. So all different vendors were managed differently. So now you can manage the vendor on that single platform. telling a salesperson not being able to go out and do sales anymore, or not face to face is a bit uncomfortable if you're always very used to that, But I guess that is the shift that we're moving towards too. Being a tech company during the MCO period was really an learning curve for us, and in terms of working from home, in terms of culture was still very collaborative tools in our organization. Being able to have internet connection and being able to communicate. So I think we have moved to different types of tools now with our clients. Previously a lot of people we were using calls, we were using face-to-face, but now we had to move digital means, whether it's via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or so forth, using more on the mobile devices as well to communicate, checking our emails, preparing our proposals. That was really a learning experience for us.
Enterprise mobility is an approach to work in which employees can do their jobs from anywhere using a variety of devices and applications. Business mobility, is the growing trend of businesses to offer remote working options, allow the use of personal laptops and mobile devices for business purposes, also make use of cloud technology for data access. Enterprise mobility recognizes the need for greater agility brought on by a shift from the traditional central office business model. To shift towards enterprise mobility, or I can say sharpen your remote working capabilities.
John, have specializing in B2B platform for the past 10 years. You offer channel management, vendor digital enablement, and B2B marketplace for Malaysia market. In this digital adoption time, we talk about usability. When our customers or even the partner right now, they often have a limited choice to access the product and service through your new digital offering. What kind of option will expand the business partner or the customer to move beyond this crisis, and how well of your new offering will stand out from there?
For Supply Cloud, we have built multiple solutions. So we started creating a marketplace where both suppliers and companies looking to purchase things can have access to. And after that, we evolved into a SaaS solution to work with companies in terms of digitalizing their procurement process flows as well. And what that means is, everything that's being done manually, creating POs on Excel or Word documents, we're manually keying in Google Design. So that's the solution that Supply Cloud is able to digitalize all this process, right? To be done, digital approvals and so forth. The other solutions that we have done as well was being able to vendor manage, digitally onboarding suppliers, partners onto a single platform for the company to be able to transact commerce with each other and communicate. Those days you were sending fax, you were calling, picking up the phone. So all different vendors were managed differently. So now you can manage the vendor on that single platform. Telling a salesperson not being able to go out and do sales anymore, or not face to face is a bit uncomfortable if you're always very used to that, But I guess that is the shift that we're moving towards too. Being a tech company during the MCO period was really a learning curve for us, and in terms of working from home, in terms of culture.
Right, so we'll be starting the session in a couple of minutes. So please bear with us while we make the final preparations in case some people want to join at the last minute.
means, whether it's via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or so forth, using more on the mobile devices as well to communicate, checking our emails, preparing our proposals. That was really a learning experience for us.
Enterprise mobility is an approach to work in which employees can do their jobs from anywhere using a variety of devices and applications. Business mobility, is the growing trend of businesses to offer remote working options, allow the use of personal laptops and mobile devices for business purposes, also make use of cloud technology for data access. Enterprise mobility recognizes the need for greater agility brought on by a shift from the traditional central office business model. To shift towards enterprise mobility, or I can say sharpen your remote working capabilities.
John, have specializing in B2B platform for the past 10 years. You offer channel management, vendor digital enablement, and B2B marketplace for Malaysia market. In this digital adoption time, we talk about usability. When our customers or even the partner right now, they often have a limited choice to access the product and service through your new digital offering. What kind of option will expand the business partner or the customer to move beyond this crisis, and how well of your new offering will stand out from there?
For Supply Cloud, we have built multiple solutions. So we started creating a marketplace where both suppliers and companies looking to purchase things have access to. And after that, we evolved into a SaaS solution to work with companies in terms of digitalizing their procurement process flows as well. And what that means is, everything that's being done manually, creating POs on Excel or Word documents, we're manually keying in approval to sign. So that's the solution that Supply Cloud is able to digitalize all this process, right? To be done, digital approvals and so forth. The other solutions that we have done as well was being able to vendor manage, digitally onboarding suppliers, partners onto a single platform for the company to be.
Right, it's now push up, and I can see a good number of people have made it. So without further ado, I'd like to officially welcome everyone to our webinar, How Mobile Device Management Changed the World for Business. You can tell mobile device management is quite a mouthful to say, so I'll be referring to it as MDM for short from now on. So my name is Tun Xiang, and I'll be your host for today. So before I proceed, I'd like to tell everyone a few things about this. We're a Malaysian-based company who empower companies with MDM solutions. We cover all aspects of device management, including securing devices, streamlining workflows, and increasing productivity in organizations and enterprises. In short, we transform the way your business works. We kickstart your productivity and enable your workplace to go mobile through comprehensive management strategies. If you'd like to know more about Cindus, you may visit our website at cindus.biz. That's the link you're seeing on your screen right now. All right, so going on, here's a brief overview of what we'll be covering in this webinar. Introduction is where we are right now. We'll be followed by explaining the role and importance of MDM in current and future businesses. Next, we'll talk about various situations where introducing MDM can solve problems. We'll then touch on what should businesses take into consideration before using an MDM solution, before finally ending the webinar with a Q&A session involving both FAQs and questions from the audience. So if you have any burning questions about MDM, please don't forget to stick with us to the end and write a type of questions number first. Right, so before we go to the first part of the webinar, I'd like everyone to answer this simple poll about MDM. So the question is, are you using any MDM solution at your organization currently? And you have 4 choices to pick from as shown on the screen. I'll give everyone about 30 seconds to respond. And it starts now. Right. See the responses rolling in. So quite a mix, it's quite a divided crowd. Interesting. Like few seconds left for the poll to go. All right. And soon, let's take a look at the results. All right. So the poll has ended, and I can see that I can see that most people are responding with no on the no questions, and it's not a problem. We're here to learn about MDM, and hopefully can come home with an idea of what MDM solution use. Right. I'll be joined by Mr. Navin Kumar from 42 Gears, the residential MDM expert. He'll be chatting with us about MDM, its relationship with modern businesses. I read about many success stories from various businesses after implementing 42 Gears MDM solution. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you, Navin, about what MDM can do for everyone here. So let's start off with the fact that MDM is an emerging technology that's being adopted by more and more businesses. So Navin, how do you see MDM playing a part in current and future businesses?
First of all, thank you, Jiang, for this opportunity to get 42 Gears involved in this webinar. Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone. I'm Navin Kumar, Senior Account Manager with 42 Gears Mobility Systems. I help customers and partners in their mobility transformation journey by understanding the mobile landscape. Most businesses depend on their endpoints for their day-to-day business operations. I help organizations manage their endpoints to achieve the maximum productivity in their business operations. So to give you a brief introduction about 42 Gears Mobility Systems, so 42 Gears Mobility System is one of the leading unified endpoint management provider. So a pioneer in offering both on-premise as well as SaaS-based mobility solutions. Our flagship product, Sure MDM, helps IT admins to secure, manage, and monitor endpoints remotely and troubleshoot the endpoints remotely. So devices we support are mobile devices, handheld computers, rugged devices, laptops, desktops, wearable headsets, VR headsets, wearables, things connector, printers, etc., running on a major operating systems like Android, iOS, macOS, Linux, Windows. You name any operating system in the market, we will be able to manage those. Coming back to the question, how MDM is an emerging trend in the current business world. So according to our research, we are expecting MDM business to touch around $100 billion by 2030. Because enterprises are increasingly leveraging mobile devices and technologies like IoT, AR, and VR. But the challenge is to manage and secure different kinds of endpoints under one single roof. Under one single console. So hence, we see MDM as an enabler of a transformation and transition into the future. So enterprises will look to their partners who are doing a value addition, not merely supporting these devices.
Yeah, Navin, really amazing that MDM is expected to grow by so much at the start of the next decade. It really goes to show how important MDM is becoming to enterprises. Well, what do you think should everyone mainly know about MDM, Navin?
So an MDM solution is a tool that can help organizations across industries in different ways, I would say. So to name a few, like time-saving security and control, an efficient and robust management solution, and improved flexibility for the remote workforce, or business process transformation, or cost optimization for the IT teams, or security and compliance, security and compliance way we can, and how to adopt to new age technologies. So all these can MDM can help an organization in all these ways. So to talk brief about these points, I would say an effective MDM ensures that critical and sensitive business data such as documents and emails are always to be secure. If a mobile device has been reported stolen or lost, the IT administrator can disconnect it or lock it down or completely turn off the device so that the company data is secure. In addition to that, MDM gives companies better control over their group of devices. For instance, a company with a number of drivers who are field agents or other distributed teams no longer need to set up each mobile device that is being used by its workforce. Okay, so implementing a security software and setting up devices is done automatically together with pushing out specific applications and tools to employees devices or smartphones or rugged devices which they are carrying out. Also, company-wide, they need to update the applications that are used on these devices. So it has been made easily achieved without any need of calling the device to the office or the corporate headquarters and all. So without calling the devices, they can update the applications over there. And in the other way where MDM can help to manage these devices efficiently and a robust management system that while mobile devices are valuable, they can also be a distractive kind of a thing for all the employees in their workday. By making use of MDM, administrators can limit the use of internet browsing or social media applications such as like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So they can restrict the use of these social media applications and they can restrict the data on the devices so that it can be made a dedicated purpose device. And MDM can also inhibit employees for using other applications than allowing them to use only the ones they need to focus or perform their day-to-day tasks. For instance, a transportation worker only need a navigational app or Google Maps and tools which are used for their traveling purpose and moving from one location to other location. MDM can inhibit them from using other applications in order to increase the optimal safety and efficiency of the device. So there are some businesses that now make use of different types of unattended devices, such as vending machines or kiosk machines that are there in malls, or smart TVs and digital signage screens that are there in big airports or malls where they will be advertising their products and all. So MDM, using an MDM, an IT administrator can track and control these devices and update any content remotely sitting at their corporate office. And one more way how MDM can help the organizations is like to improve the flexibility of the remote workforce. So mobile device management allows convenient access to relevant documents at any location and at any time through its centralized system. So this means employees can access all the needed files while working on their mobile devices. So company files such as forms or training materials that can be shared as needed, and it can also be made sure that they are only accessed by the authorized individuals. So the increased flexibility of MDM gives companies the needed control over their mobile devices and also supports the liberty of mobile workforce to work efficiently. And the next comes how efficiently the business process transformation is going to take over once the new solution is added to the system. So companies use enterprise mobile devices to transform and automate the existing business process internally. So this business process can be internal or external and could be related to departments like sales, logistics, supply chain. It could be related to all the departments inside the organization. So there will be a lot of business transformation that is going to happen when a new solution is being introduced. And MDM helps a company in supporting and sustaining the business process transformation as well. And one more way, the most important way I would say, how MDM is going to be a cost optimization for organization. In order to support a business, companies need to provide IT support to various teams in the company. I mean, the company has to hire more people to train them, provide the logistic support for, say, for example, if there is any device device at a different location. So the IT, if there is any trouble on the device, IT team has to travel to the on location and they have to troubleshoot the devices. So using an MDM, all these costs can be cut down. So as a result, company has to spend an MDM can by providing a remote support of these devices, it helps IT administrators to cut down the cost of the cut down the IT support costs as well. And the other way is to ensure the security and compliance of the company data. So an MDM ensures the enterprise devices are compliant with the security and compliance policy of the company. So even if the devices are stolen or and the data and the devices are data is there on the devices, so IT administrator can wipe off the device, wipe off the data on the device remotely via if the device is stolen or reported that the device is stolen or lost by the employee. So it doesn't allow any non-compliant devices to access the company's network as well. And the other way is to how an enterprise can adapt to new age technologies. So we can see that nowadays there are a lot of technology changes that are coming into the picture, like IoT, VR, AR. So all these devices can be easily managed using an MDM solution. This helps a company to incorporate these solutions to enhance to their customer and enhance their customer experience.
Right. Thank you very much for the informative and response, Navin. So now that we know the importance of the role of MDM in businesses, it's very common that once a business starts using MDM, they experience plenty of changes for the better. So let's look into a few situations that can be addressed with MDM in the following slides. I'd like to give a huge thanks to 42 Gears graphic design team for creating these slides for us. Right, let's move on. Let's check out the first image that's shown on the screen. It says, I wish I could update these devices in an easier way. So trying to update the programs and apps on company devices can be really frustrating sometimes, because we all know not every program or app updates automatically. It's really annoying every time a program says, yes, updates available, right? I mean, so like, why are you telling me there's an update? You can just install it yourself. You don't have to tell me. So I can't imagine how tedious it will be to say, transfer an updated app to hundreds of phones and prompt every phone to install it over the existing one. So I'd like to ask you, Navin, can we eliminate this kind of problem?
Sure, John. So yes, of course, any company where they are managing thousands of devices, it is very difficult for the IT admins to update each and every single phone or device. So for this, we have a solution. We can schedule jobs with a required app install and make it mandatory for users to install them. Hence, when they are using the device, they will receive a notification which will be mandatory for people to read and update the app. So this way we can keep all the apps updated across all the devices.
All right, thank you, Navin, for the response. It's always a good thing to keep every single device up to date immediately, especially if you need to patch an exploit. No device should be left behind, or worse, become the one backdoor for your entire business's data. And let's move on to the next situation. How do I manage those devices from different locations? Now, we know MDM can help us with updating hundreds of thousands of devices at once. So let's talk about managing devices themselves. In those days, most work devices were immobile and used only at the workplace, which means they're connected to a central network. If you run into any problem, it's really easy to ring out the IT department and you'll fix the problem right away. But now, plenty of businesses are using mobile or portable devices that they may take around with them if they need to go out for work. Who can you turn to if the device glitches out while you're outside the office? It should be a huge problem during the current pandemic, because many of workplaces have shifted to remote working. I mean, it's not always convenient to ask someone to physically come over and do a device, right? So, Navin, could you tell us more about how MDM can help with this?
Yes, sure, John. Yeah, during this pandemic, all the organizations have adopted remote working option now because of the challenges that we have been facing outside the world now. So it has been a very challenging task for organizations as their devices are spread across different places in the city. So every time, whenever there is a problem on the device, IT admin cannot call the device to their office and troubleshoot it. So using an MDM, IT department can remotely access the device to understand the issue and perform tasks to eliminate the issue. So this removes the need to provide an IT engineer to be physically present at the physically present to repair the device. So this helps enterprises to reduce the IT support cost drastically.
They awesome, Navin. Always great to be able to free the workplace with remote access, having to worry about not being able to fix, for example, malfunctioning devices. Yet to save costs, we are having to read out some instructions with complicated tech jargon, get the employee to fix the devices themselves. So that's really putting the M in MDM. Right. So let's move on next to the situation. We know MDM has the power to update and fix devices. But what about tracking their status? So let's read out the dialogue in the image on the screen. Hey, stalker, stop checking in on us all the time. Very common for employees to misuse work devices beyond their intended purpose. For example, they're on a prepaid phone plan, they will make calls on the company phone to save a few phone credits. So how can employees track what exactly employees are doing with work devices and hold them accountable if necessary?
Sure, John. So when you say it's a company phone, so company has all the rights to keep a track of the devices that are used by the employees. Of course, employees do misuse sometimes the work devices for their personal um, work as well. So companies using an MDM, company can track how much time an user has been spending most of the time on which application has been used by the user, and they can keep a track of the phone calls and the SMS that have been shared. Everything can be logged. So the device locations also can be tracked, and which helps in increasing employees' productivity. So tracking the lost devices and track any variations from standard parameters, it helps the enterprises to ensure that the devices are not lost and the employee is in their radar.
Right, it's really great to know how powerful the monitoring capabilities of MDM are. And the possibilities are limitless on what you want to track. So I guess employees won't be able to hide what they're doing with the company devices anymore, and hopefully they'll be extra careful of what they do. They're holding one at a time. So let's talk about the fourth situation. As it says on the screen, I didn't know what you did last year. This year, and no more bypass. So what we're going to talk about is also related to tracking, but instead of tracking devices, is tracking what apps can be used in the devices. We all know that we can download a wide range of apps to our phones and tablets. From a business point of view, it's both good and bad. On one hand, you want a work device to be as versatile as possible to streamline device usage. On the other hand, your employee may download some games to slack off with, or if the device happens to be their personal one, accidentally upload confidential data to their personal cloud drive. So what can we do to control the apps in a work device?
Yes, so enterprises can decide which applications the employees should access, and to which network they should connect their devices. So basically, I would say for example, insurance agent or a pharmaceutical representative who is there on the field. An organization can restrict the device to specific application, that he has to use only a pharma app of their company and the phone call on the SMS application and a Wi-Fi network. Apart from that, all the applications can be blocked, so that this ensures the employee use the device only for the intended purpose.
Wow, it's really good to know that MDM doesn't always have to involve charging up the entire device, and you can still segregate work and personal life in employee-owned devices. If your business wants to save costs and bring your own device policy, you can at least carry out some sort of management with MDM at the application level. Right. So our next situation will be about an employer wanting certain rules on their devices. Sometimes an employer is extra picky about confidentiality. That's why they don't want a device to be used, for example, beyond a certain place or a certain amount of time. Of course, we learn it's possible to track the device's location and hours used, but how do we set up the preventative measures? can we set some rules for devices that are tailored to the employee's needs?
Yes. So based on the operating systems that are managed, like Android, iOS, and Windows, enterprises can define different set of rules to allow access to applications which the employees can use. Some of the measures that they can take are like, they can list out only few applications. They can list out applications for work, and all the devices should be enrolled in MDM, and any non-compliant devices will not be able to access these applications. So the corporate data will be segregated on the employee device, like, personal work and employee, personal device and Android for work device. There will be a differentiation between personal apps and the work apps. Using a container, we can have a differentiation. If the device is lost or stolen, corporate data can be remotely wiped out. And if the employee leaves the company, IT admin can remotely wipe the work data so that it cannot be misused by the employee once they leave the organization.
All right, thank you, Navin. I really appreciate how MDM can not just track device usage, but also control or set boundaries on it. So if employees have to follow certain rules and regulations, so should their devices. All right, we're now at our final situation. It's about trying to make a device work for only one purpose. Our smart devices are very powerful. Sometimes we just want our client or customer to do only one thing. So let's look at this image, and the guy is saying, when I say lock down mobile, that is not what I meant. So there's a misconception, as you can tell from the slide, that locking down a device to do exactly that could be seen as restrictive, and you can't change it once it's set. So, Navin, how do you address this misconception? And could you tell us more about setting up a device for this?
Yeah. So it won't lead like a misconception, I would say. Locking down a device means allowing the employees single application mode or a group of allowed applications to be used on a one device. So MDM provides an app store of allowed apps from which a user or employee can download an application. So this ensures that employees use the device only for the intended purpose and not any other ways. Some of the examples of kiosk more like, in a banking, when you go to a bank, there will be a self-service kiosk machine. So where customers can perform different kind of activities, like, to get to know their account details, to request for a checkbook, or to register a complaint. All these activities they can perform on a self-service kiosk machine, which is there in a bank. Or if you go to a restaurant or a food and beverages, so customers can purchase and pay for the items they are going to buy. And in a retail sector, if you go to a retail store, there will be a kiosk machine where customers can know about the latest offers and the new products that have come to the store. All these details information can be shown on the kiosk machine. So in education sector, we could say, like, the device has to be locked down because the student has to use the device only for the education purpose. And in healthcare sector, you can talk about, like, the device, the tablet or device which is going to be used inside the hospital. It has to be used only to update the patient's information, but not for the other users. So to access the patient's data on the device, to provide telemedicine, etc., like that, it can be used.
All right, so thanks for clearing up to everyone about what device lockdown actually is and listing out so many great examples of kiosk devices. It's amazing how many devices around us that we normally take for granted have a huge story behind them. And they couldn't have been made possible without MDM. Definitely won't look at them the same way ever again. All right, so we've now covered the six various situations where MDM can solve issues involved. So let's get down to business, precisely by talking about introducing MDM to business. Of course, not every business may need MDM. So how should a company select an MDM solution?
Yes, John. whenever any organization is looking for an MDM solution, so there are a lot of factors that come into picture. They have to foresee different factors when before they're going to select an MDM solution. So I can differentiate it in two ways. One is internal factors and external factors. So when it comes to internal factors which dependent within the company. So enterprises have to look out their current device landscape. I mean, what are the devices that are there in their organization right now? Which model of devices? They are Android or Windows or Linux, or what kind of devices are these, tablets or desktops, laptops, what? So they have to see, and they have to foresee how they are going to grow up in the next few years. I mean, how they are going to landscape uh, using the technologies such as IoT, VR, and AR, which are coming into the picture now. So, and they have to see the current challenges in order to, when a solution comes into picture, there will be a lot of changes internally as well. So they have to identify the process to be managed with these mobile devices. And one more important aspect is how to adopt to the new technologies that they bring into the organization. So they have to plan and adopt for new technologies that they are going to bring in to the picture. Also, they have to predict the future requirements, try and foresee the process to be managed using these mobile devices. These are internal factors, I would say. And when it comes to external factors, so whenever any organization looking for a software, so they have to look for a scalable solution. So the MDM solution which they are going to choose should be scalable for the future requirements. And the most important thing whenever any organization is looking for a software is the support. After post-sales support is one of the important aspect any organization has to look for. So they have to see what kind of a support that the OEM is going to provide. And one more important factor which comes into picture is the local partner network for the OEM. So does the MDM solution have the network partner network in their respective regions? Do they can they provide support in their local through their local or channel partners? So these are the factors that a company has to foresee when they are choosing an MDM solution.
Right. Thanks for going into detail about various factors, internal and external, that can influence a company's choice in MDM. So I hope everyone can take this into consideration before either taking the plunge or switching to another solution. So right now, it's finally the turn for the FAQ section. I'm going to read out some FAQs about MDM to Navin, and we hope we can answer most of the common questions Ben has before we proceed to the Q&A session from the live audience. So let's start with the first question. Reads, do we need to have certain requirements to deploy MDM in our company? And I wonder how much it costs to use it.
No, there are no restrictions from MDM perspective in regards to the deployment size. So it can be as low as the minimum one device to maximum thousands of devices. So I don't see any challenges here to deploy on MDM for any company.
Okay, all right. So that's the first question. And for the second question, how does the MDM work once the devices have left the office?
See, an MDM works independent of the location of the devices. So they just need an internet on the devices, that's it. So irrespective of the location, wherever the device is, IT admin can track the device, and MDM, as far as the device is online, MDM can be stable on the device, and it works as expected. This helps all the IT admins to manage all the devices remotely.
All right, thank you, Navin. So the second question down, the third question is, do devices have to be factory reset to be enrolled and managed by MDM?
I would say not required actually. We can provide the device with a set of installed applications and MDM to the users. They can start using the device right away. They don't need to factory reset every time to enroll
Right,
MDM.
I see. Yeah. So, okay, that's the third question. And the final question is, any final comments to help companies implement MDM? And what's the perspective in the MDM market towards businesses in the upcoming 5 years?
Okay, so according to our research, according to the market research that we have done, so the global MDM market size to grow from current market size is around 5.5 billion USD in 2021. So from $5.5 billion to it, we are expected to grow up to $20.4 billion by 2026 at a compound annual growth rate of 29.8 during the forecast period. So the main focus will be to enhance the data and the network security. Will be to provide consent to the end user experience. So we see MDM becoming a most must-have solution for every organization on their endpoints.
Thanks so much
of the size of the organization.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for Sorry about that. So thanks so much for answering all the FAQs, Navin. At this point, yeah, we're going to open up questions finally to the audience now. But first, we want to know at this point about everyone's interest in this right now. You should be aware by now about what benefits MDM can bring to your business as told by Navin. So I'm going to start another poll with the question, would you like to explore 42 gears as an option in your device management infrastructure? And like before, I'll give, this time there are 3 options instead of 4, and I'll give everyone 30 seconds to respond like 4. Right. I can see a few people have made some responses. No, somewhere between no and maybe. Still going, few seconds left. All right, so the poll has ended. Thanks for everyone for taking part in the poll. You can see a lot of people are still a bit on the sorry, a few people actually divided between yes and maybe. That's quite leaning towards a positive on considering the yes MDM solution. That's great. So hopefully you can get in touch, if you like to seriously consider implementing 42 gears MDM solution to your business. Right. So, and finally start reading out some questions from the audience. So now it's time to take out your notes if you've been writing out any questions throughout the webinar. Yes. So I can see in the chat box here, there are 2 questions from the audience. So let me look. First question is from the audience in Zoom is from Shara. So Shara asking that will it be easy to enroll the device? They have phones in multiple locations. Do I need to gather them back to do so?
Yes, it will be easy for us to enroll. You need not gather all the information, all the devices to the one single location. So we can enroll it. Not a problem.
Yeah, that's good. I hope that answers your question, Shara. And we have another question from Henry in the audience as well, in the Zoom audience. So he's asking, can a laptop be managed by an MDM solution as well?
Yes, we can manage a laptop as well. May I know which operating system is it? We can manage Windows, Linux machines, and Mac OS as well.
Yeah, hopefully, if Henry can look at what operating system your device uses, then you can manage it. All right, and we have a question from the broadcast in either like YouTube or Facebook. So the question states, the rise in BYOD, bring your own device, as mentioned. Does your solution offer containerization?
Yes, we do. Our solution, we do support BYOD devices. Yeah, we have a special item called containerization, which helps to separate personal data with work data.
Right, that's good to know. And there's another question from the Facebook and YouTube as well. And the question is, how will this MDM solution impact employees?
So we don't see any impact with the employees. I would say no. Every company will have their own set of rules and policies uh, for which all the employees has to follow the company rules and policies. So I don't see any challenges here with the employees.
All right, that's the questions so far, and just gonna just share a link about if you're interested, if anyone's interested in this in Zoom, then they can click on the link to find out more. All right, so thank you everyone once more for the questions, and I would like to thank everyone deeply for staying with us until the end of the webinar. We at Cindus are going to host plenty of live sessions like this in the coming days, and I hope all of you are able to leave this webinar knowing how to unlock the full potential of your workforce with MDM. Also, we'd love to hear more about how we did throughout the webinar, so we can deliver better informative sessions about MDM to the business world. So we created a post-webinar survey for everyone to fill out. Link should appear shortly after Zoom has ended, the session has ended. So for Facebook and YouTube, it will appear in the comments section. If you have any inquiries or questions regarding 42 Gears or would like to deploy in your company, feel free to contact us and we'll forward our enterprise mobility specialist to assist you further through our email, hello@cindus.biz. That's all from us and goodbye for now.
Thank you, Xiang. Thank you.
Telling a salesperson not be able to go out and do sales anymore, or not face to face, is a bit uncomfortable if you're always very used to that, But I guess that is the shift that we're moving towards too.